Hello, this is Walker Physics, 4th edition. We're in Chapter 7 on work and kinetic energy. This is the end of the chapter questions, and this is question number 8. You pick up a 3.4 kilogram can of paint from the ground and lift it to a height of 1.8 meters. How much work do you do on the can of paint? Okay, so if I have a can, okay, and it weighs, 3.4 kilograms. And I'm going to lift it in this direction, and it's going to go 1.8 meters. Well, if you remember, the work is going to be force times a distance. So I need to know what the force is. The force has to be at least as much as the mass. Okay, if you are raising that can at a constant speed with no acceleration, then the force has to at least be the same as the mass of the can. So the mass of the can is mg. That means the normal force is going to be the tension in your arm. So you could lift it with a higher amount of force and accelerate the can up. But if you lift it at a constant speed, the force has to at least be the same as mg. Okay, so let's find out what mg is. M is 3.4 times 9.81. Okay, that gives me 33.4 newtons. All right, so there's my force that I'm lifting it up with. So if I know that work equals force times distance, and my distance is 1.8, then my work is going to be 60 joules. Okay, so this is A. If I'm lifting it up, it's going to be 60 joules. Okay, all right, what about B? B says you hold it stationary for half a minute, waiting for a friend on a ladder to take it. How much work do you do on during this time? Okay, this is easy because there's no displacement. So if there's no displacement, there's still a force because you've got a tension on the handle of that can. So there's a tension in your arm. So there is a force there, but there's no displacement. So if you have force times 0, then your work is 0. Okay, so if you have work equals force times distance, and you have a force times 0, then your work is also 0. So B would be 0 joules. Last one is C. Your friend decides against the paint, so you lower it back to the ground. How much work do you do on the can as you lower it? Well, if your tension is towards your shoulder, okay, tension in your arm, but the can is the displacement, so if the force is in this direction and your displacement is in this direction, then your force is acting opposite to your displacement. Okay, so if your force is in the same direction as your displacement, then you have positive work. If your force is in the opposite direction to your displacement, then you have negative work, and so it would be the very same. It would be basically the opposite of raising it up. So it would still be 60 joules, but your work would be negative 60 joules because your force is the tension, it's acting towards the top, your displacement's acting 180 degrees away from the force, so that means you're going to have a negative work. Thank you.